It's about right there. All right, Titus, bring me a scoop of that good stuff. Careful, don't drop it. There we go. All right, give me one more scoop, buddy. What's up, Lazy Dog fam? Hope all y'all are having a fantastic day. It is Tuesday, May 21st here in South Georgia, and it's been a minute since we've done any figging around, so I thought it'd be a great time to do that today. We're going to officially start expanding our fig orchard here behind me. We'll show you how we set up the irrigation, how we space out the trees, what we put in the holes when we plant the trees, all that good stuff. But before we start planting, let's do a little brief state of the orchard address, show you what's going on with the trees that we have in the ground currently. So all our trees are looking pretty good right now, loaded up with new growth. That winter fertilization plan worked wonders. I must have really laid it to this white Marcel's tree here. I think it's grown more than any of them. That thing right there has really taken off. And we've got figs galore forming on all this new growth on some of these older trees like this GE Neri here. And some of these younger trees, like this 2-year-old Canadria tree. A lot of people want to know, how long does it take to start getting figs? Well, you water and feed them well, you can have them loaded up like this in just a couple of years. And I did have someone message me the other day saying their fig tree was just loaded up with figs, but they're just staying green, they won't ripen. And I had to tell them, well, sometimes it can take a couple months for those figs to actually ripen. Some varieties ripen faster than others. You just got to be patient with those first ones. It's kind of like waiting on that first ripe tomato. Seems like it's never going to happen, and then when it does, next thing you know, you've got buckets of tomatoes. Now over here on this side of the orchard, where we have a lot more younger trees as opposed to older trees, my heavy watering and fertilization plan may have backfired on me a little bit with a couple of these. See those trees leaning right there? That one's leaning. That Smith tree over there's leaned over pretty good. These things have put on so much growth at one time that they haven't been able to hold themselves up. Now a lot of this has to do with just how much rain we've been having lately. I've really never seen this happen. Fig trees usually don't need any kind of support, but I think I'm gonna have to come in here, put some wooden stakes by a few of these, tie them up until their roots can get strong enough to hold them up. So that's the current state of the existing fig orchard. Now let's talk about our expansion zone here behind me. So we had all those pine trees cut down earlier this year and then piled up into 3 piles that you see over there. Now this kind of still looks like a mess, but that's okay because I knew I wasn't going to be able to plant all this at one time. And that's mainly because, one, I knew I wasn't going to be able to get all this spick and span clean by the middle of May this year. And two, I don't have enough trees to plant all this. We usually add, I don't know, 20, 30 new varieties a year at the most. And I've got enough room here to plant, I don't know, over 100 new varieties. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to plant it all this year. Anyways, yeah, it still looks like a mess right now, but I promise you in a couple years, it'll look a lot better. And these tree piles here, we've got them burnt down a decent amount considering what we started with, but I just can't get the whole thing to burn. I poured a ton of diesel on these things and they just ain't ready to burn quite yet. I did want to burn them down some because when we planted some new trees in here, which we're going to do today, I didn't want a really, really hot fire too close to these new trees. So I wanted to get it burnt down a little bit, which we've done. Still got a ways to go. We'll finish burning all this in the winter. Too dang hot to be burning right now. And so the goal this year is just to add one more long row of fig trees to our existing orchard. Then we'll add 1 or 2 more rows next year, and then probably another row the following year, and then it will finally be complete. So we don't have a lot to take on this year, just 1 more row. And that works out good because where this next row is going to go, it's not in too bad a shape. We've got some stumps out there. We're going to plant around those anyways, just like we did with our existing orchard. Those stumps will rot out in a couple years. Now my boys are finally out of school, so they've been helping me a good bit the last couple days. Yesterday morning, had Titus pulling weeds, doing a little garden cleanup, and I had Abram out here digging holes. I gave him a shovel and a pair of pruners because there's a lot of roots out here, and told him to knock himself out. He ended up digging me about 20 real good holes here, not without a little bit of complaining, but we made it through. So you can see these holes he dug there. He did pretty dang good considering all those roots that are down in there. That's not easy work right there, folks. That's tough digging. We got some nice big holes. I dug the holes a good bit bigger than I needed because I know this is some sorry dirt, and we're going to add some compost in there, as we'll show you in a minute. As far as my spacing goes, I try to put the trees around 10 foot apart, but that has a lot to do with where these stumps are. So some of the trees may be 12 foot apart, some of them may be 8 foot apart, but on average about 10 foot. Now, with as many fig trees as I've got and as many fig trees as I'm going to have, drip irrigation is a must. Now, if you just plant a couple fig trees in your backyard, you can go out there with a water hose and hand water them and baby them until they get a nice root system established in the soil. But it would take me hours every day to come out here and do that, dragging a lot of hoses around. So that's why we got to have drip irrigation, which is the first step today. We need to get that set up. And so for my current system, my water hose plugs up right there, and then we have the main line tubing and drippers running all along these rows. Once I plug up the water hose there, it feeds all those trees on that side of the orchard, and if we pan over here, all those trees over there as well. Now, I really don't want to tie into this existing system because eventually we're going to have more drippers than we have water. The drippers we use are 1 gallon per hour drippers. Our well here puts out about 8 gallons a minute. If we do the quick math on that, 8 times 60, we've got about 480 gallons an hour to work with. And while we're certainly not going to hit the 480 tree mark today, we might at some point. So I might as well go ahead and start me another zone here with this orchard expansion. Yes, that'll be 2 different spots to hook up a water hose, but it'll be right here by the spigot. Not a big deal. We'll just start a new one today with the new part of the orchard. So I've got a big roll of 1/2-inch tubing here, and I just need to run this tubing the length of the row that we're going to plant today, and I'll probably put the tubing on this side of those stumps. All this will eventually be covered with pine straw. You won't even see it, just like it is over there, but we need to get this tubing down because that's what's going to feed these drippers. Well, that wasn't quite enough tubing, but that's all right because I had some more, so we just put a coupling right there and added to it. Got us an end cap on that end right there, held down with a cinder block so it won't go anywhere. And we got our water hose hookup installed right here, not too far from the well, so we won't need that long of a hose. And now that the more technical aspect of things has been handled, let me go see if I can round up some help. Alright, so this is how we're going to do this, or at least how I hope it's going to go. Got my trees right here on the cart, 20 or 24 fig trees. Got our coop grow here. We're going to need to put some of that in each hole, give a little fertility. We got a bucket full of pre-assembled drip fittings here. Put those together the other night. Got a wheelbarrow mixed up with some bed mix, and I add a little more mushroom compost to it so we can put that in the hole. And then hopefully Daddy's going to sit on this buggy right here and just write labels while these boys show me how to do it. But I'll show them how to do the first one here. So we're going to start out with a variety called Tina, T-E-N-A. Get our tree out of here. See, we got a nice root ball on that. Oh, that tangled up there in the briar a little bit. Our hole may be a little too deep. It is. That's all right. We'll backfill it a little bit. That's about right there. All right, Titus, bring me a scoop of that good stuff. Careful, don't drop it. There we go. All right, give me one more scoop, buddy.
Coming up. Woo.
Coming up. All right. Okay, bring me that yellow bag of fertilizer there, please, sir.
Okay.
Right there, that one there.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna sprinkle a little of that down there. That will be good. And we're gonna fill back in this hole if we got enough dirt here.
Whack.
You might have to go get me one more scoop, okay?
Okay.
That's good right there. All right, bring me that orange bucket there, please, sir.
Okay.
All right. Punch us a hole in our tubing here, just like that. And we got our drippers. Punch that in there. Got a little angle stake there. Set that right there. That will be good and happy. On to the next one. All right, I got all my help out here now. Next variety we're gonna plant is called Golden Rainbow. Get that blue tag off there, Ty-Ty. All right, see how deep that hole is. A little too deep. Put some more dirt in there. That's good. That's good right there.
You did that.
All right, Bubby.
Give me a scoop of that dirt.
You tell him, Titus. Tell him to get you some scoops. Now put you some fertilizer in there. Hand him that bag of fertilizer. Tata thinks he's a pro now.
Oh,
all right, now pull the rest of that dirt in there. Help him out, Abram. All right, now fill in the rest of the hole with the good dirt. Pack it down good around there, Titus. All right, Daddy will come behind you and put on the irrigation. Let's go on to the next one. All right, so about an hour and a half later, and we got that knocked out. I'm glad I had some help because it would have took me a lot longer to do that by myself. For 6 and 8, them boys are pretty good help. Now, for the hardcore fig enthusiasts out there, I know you're going to want to know what varieties we just planted. So let's go down the line real fast. Most of these we planted 2 trees for each variety. There was a few varieties where I only had 1 tree. So starting off, we've got Tina, Golden Rainbow, Black Bethlehem, Maltese Falcon, LSU DC2, LSU Thibodeau, Black Triana, LSU Strawberry, Battaglia Green, Iraqi, Iranian Candy, Black Zadar, Dale San Jom Grand, not sure how to pronounce that one, and lastly Valle Negra. Now you may be wondering, is it too late, is it too hot to be planting figs in the ground here in the deep south? And I think most people would tell you that it is, and I would advise against it. Now I can get away with it because I got plenty of water. So you can go for it as long as you can baby that tree and keep it happy until it gets some roots established in that soil. I think most people would be safer just up potting the tree, letting it grow a little more in a pot and wait until more early spring to plant instead of waiting as late as I did. Just took me a while to get caught up and get this ready to plant. Most of these trees should be fine. I don't really expect to lose any here because we can keep that water running and keep them happy. So I hope you enjoyed the video today, and if you want to know more about our fig tree irrigation system, I'll put a link in the description below to a blog on our website that has it broken down piece by piece with links. And if you missed that last video where we talked about the 3 things we've done to get our trees looking so nice and green and lush this time of year, you can watch that right here. So check that out. We'll see you next time right here at Lazy Dog Farm.